pretty frequently where they kind of delay responding for a while?
Oh, all too frequently.
Really?
Yeah.
We're seeing it more and more. It's a game they play. Because remember this, and I've talked about this. What's their job? Deny, delay, devalue.
Right.
That's what they're doing. Even when it gets into litigation, I mean, they're playing the same game. So
Yeah.
we have to control what we can control, and that's
Sure.
why we push the issue, get those motions to compel filed, and just do what we got to do for the client to get the case worked out.
Sure. So what is the client's responsibility in all of this?
Well, the main thing is their deposition. And JP or I will prep the client. We'll sit down with you before your deposition, and that's just where the defense is going to get a chance to ask them any kind of question that they think will be relevant to defend that case. And you're going to be sworn under oath, and we'll prep you. And it usually takes a couple hours. If it's a more complex case, it might take a little longer. But that's it. Once you get the deposition done, we're doing all the heavy lifting on the back end. Of course, the client needs to, if the medical condition changes or you got any other kind of element of damages that changes since we filed the lawsuit that we don't know of, constant communication is key to get maximum settlement value when we get this thing to the finish line.
Sure, sure. So, going back to mediation, who pays the mediator for that?
Well, typically,
And the mediator, is that like the judge or whoever that third party is, or who's the mediator?
so the mediator's a neutral third party.
Right, okay.
Normally, every time it's going to be a licensed attorney, and both parties have to agree on who that mediator is going to be, and typically it's going to be a very experienced attorney that's probably tried very similar cases. So if it's a car accident case we're mediating, that mediator's probably been an attorney on either side and tried a lot of car accident cases, understands how a jury's going to evaluate it and view it and that sort of thing. And they charge hourly. Typically, we split the cost between our clients and the defendants.
Gotcha.
Sometimes we can negotiate. Maybe the defense is going to pay for all of it. It's kind of case by case. Typically, it's split. But that mediation process, it sounds kind of silly to have a neutral third party exchange money back and forth. But if you trust the process, it really does work. The mediator can look at the insurance company and say, hey guys, I'm talking to the injured person over here. Jury's going to like him or her. The accident is high impact accident. They're injured. Their medical bills support it. What are y'all doing? Why are y'all fooling around? You're going to lose at trial. Let's resolve this, make everyone happy. And the mediator might come over to Justin or I and our client and say, y'all are too in depth. You're not viewing this objectively. Here are the flaws in your case. Maybe you need to move down from your demand. But ultimately, both parties are going to leave unhappy. The insurance company's going to pay too much. Our clients, we always want the maximum value. So if we get anything less than that, we're going to be dissatisfied too. But that's kind of the nature of a good agreement. And the mediator really is useful. And that's why it's mandatory everywhere in South Carolina before you get a trial date.
That's interesting. It's a little bit of like a poker game in a way.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's definitely a game, and there's definitely an art to it. And
Yeah.
we do these all the time. So we have certain mediators that we use for certain cases. The defense has certain mediators they want to use for certain cases. We know that we need to keep some things in pocket, not really play all our cards to the mediator.
Sure.
Because again, they're going from room to room. But hopefully at the end, as JP said, if you trust the process, we're going to get it to the finish line. You'll get your check.
Yeah. Man, lots of stuff. That was really informative.
Yeah, usually this is
thank you.
a very dry topic, not what we're used to on
Yeah.
the Carolina Justice Report, but it needs to be out there because we get a lot of questions
interesting.
about this, and people
Sure.
don't understand this.
Well, I definitely didn't know what it was.
And the time aspect of it. You just got to be very, very patient on us. You mentioned that earlier, but we will understand it's going to take a while, but we will push it as hard as we can possibly push it.
We're going to plan every case like we're going to go to trial, because the last thing you want is to be, maybe a year does pass and we get on that trial roster and we don't have all our ducks in a row. We want to be ready to try that case. But the clients, and it's not the downfalls of the system is the time. It's hurry up and wait.
Right.
You have to be very patient. And there's some things, we push the issue as hard as we can. And some things are out of our control. I mentioned 30 days, that's a month. And if you have all these 30-day deadlines, they can add up. So we'll absolutely push the issue, but some things are out of our hands. Sometimes time can benefit us, but 90% of the time it's going to help the defense.
Right.
They want to wear you down
Sure.
as the injured party. And, you just got to, we have your back, you're in good hands, and, trust the process, and that'll be it.
Yeah. Well, thank you both for chatting about this today and educating folks and me. Justin, where should people go if they kind of want to learn more?
Always, you can go to our website, justiceslovely.com. You can find me on TikTok. I am still not dancing, but Randy's trying to get me to dance.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah, anywhere you consume social media, we're there. But of course, and if you just want to call and talk about it, call and talk to me or JP, just set an appointment.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for watching the Carolina Justice Report today. We will see you next time.
When life gets ugly, justice is lovely, the lovely law.